Good morning or good afternoon or good evening to anybody who's there. Hope you all had a good new year. Right, it seems that Chillie's found a new grift. And I'm sad to say it's on the death of a young girl, which tragically happened. Now, you see, if Chillie actually had emotions and actually did care about this girl's death, instead of boasting that he's going to give half his super chats, why didn't he give his full super chats to the cause or the GoFundMe? I mean, why? Why do you have to give him money and then him give it to the GoFundMe? Instead, what I suggest everybody do is just give it directly to the GoFundMe. The one that's not involved anything about Chillie. Because no doubt he's going to try and get in contact with his family and going to try and grift. Because that's all he sees. He doesn't see a death of a young girl or a tragic accident. He sees dollar signs. This is all he sees. Now, what I'm going to ask you all is not going to be very popular. I know it was a police officer that knocked her down, but in all circumstances, he was acting as a civilian at the time. He was off duty, so it could have been from any person, you, me, or anything. Now, I also need you to take into account, instead of knee-jerking towards everybody's reactions and headlines, is I've seen it happen quite a number of times. Kids, especially teenagers, on the phone, going straight across without looking, straight across the road, while texting on the phone, or not looking where they're going. Now, I'm not saying this is what happened. I have no idea. I have purposely stayed away, and this video is just to give my bare bones opinion, not a knee-jerk reaction, my bare bones opinion. And this is basically the best thing people can do, is look, analyse, and then see what plays out. I mean, what gets me is Chillie, who drives around 99.9% of the time toasted, absolutely toasted, high on something. Now, it could be coke, could be meth, could be weed, or a mixture of all three. But he's always driving about on his phone, not paying attention, so he's the last person on this planet to even remotely talk about this child's death. Now, without further ado, let's see what the grifting scampster is up to.
Live. Can you guys hear me now? So we had very limited time. DLZ clips, if you want to connect this to Facebook instead of Twitter, I'd like to. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a 5x5 if you guys can hear me all right. Let me grab my phone real quick so that I can show you guys some stuff. I'm going to show you guys some stuff today that's going to be pretty mind-blowing for you. Yo, how is everybody today? Nice to see everybody. It's been kind of a long day because I've been on the phone all day with some people about Lainey Hudson. So this video today, I'm actually going to jump on the phone and if this sounds okay, give me a 5x5, and I'm going to show you guys a video first. Let me shut my other programs real quick so that we can get right into this. This is going to be, And I'm going to force quit that one. And let me open up this video for you guys so you guys can see some stuff that you haven't seen before. And maybe you guys have seen this already, but what's going on over there in Huntington, West Virginia is going to be a cover-up. And we know.
Man, what a fucking knob jockey you are. You don't waste any time, do you? Straight away trying to steer the narrative into what you want it to be. A cover-up. No proof, no nothing. Absolutely no evidence whatsoever. Let's see what he's got to say.
We know it. So, this is the video right here. I'm going to play this. I'm going to let this play for a couple of minutes here. I hope this sounds okay. I kind of was, I've been working on this all day with DLZ clips. DLZ clips over there, working so hard with the limited resources that he has, and he's just putting in a lot of effort. And so I want to share this with you guys, and then I'm going to talk about it because I'm going to call Lainey's mother. And I talked to her earlier today, and I'm going to call Lainey's uncle, and I'm going to call a couple of Lainey's friends who I spoke with earlier today on the phone. This little girl was killed.
You fucking piece of shit. You know, sometimes I wish there was a fucking hell so you could just fucking rot there. Chillie, you've no fucking right to do anything like that. Why are you inserting yourself into other people's fucking lives? Especially those who are fucking grieving, just so you can make a fucking dollar. You cockend. Sorry, just shit like this makes me really fucking irritated. I mean, really, I implore anybody who knows the Laney family, tell them to stay well away from Chillie fucking Jose Marie Decastro, because he will try and grift the fucking socks off of this. I can imagine when he fucking saw it, straight pants to angles, ka-ching, straight with a fucking tub of Vaseline. Chillie, you just oh, fuck me, man. I'm sorry. He's just... Please, anybody who knows them, contact them and tell them to stay away from him. That's the best thing they can do.
By a deputy named Jeff Racer, who works for the Cabell County Sheriff's Department there in Huntington, West Virginia. And what you guys are going to see tonight is a little bit of inside information. You guys are going to get a little bit of inside information from the family. And then what you're also going to see is you're going to see some blurbs that were posted by different people on Facebook and what the general sentiment around the Huntington, West Virginia area is. And let me show you on a video exactly what we're looking at here, because I put this into a map. So this is from Lainey's grandma, and it says, "I've tried to find the words all night long to post this absolutely devastating news. There's no other way to say it but to say it. My beautiful 13-year-old granddaughter Lainey was struck by a car tonight, and it took her young life away from us so unnecessarily soon. She was a mere 13 years young, so full of life, and she had been robbed of every living out of it. And the world, we will miss seeing this incredible human being become the person she had the potential to be. Our family definitely has a huge hole in it now. Parents and grandparents are not supposed to bury our children. We're not supposed to bury our children. I sure hope that the individual responsible for ending her young life realizes that alcohol plus speeding a vehicle and denial don't go together, and we will have answers for this heinous crime one way or another. Please pray, send good thoughts, whatever works for you and her loved ones, especially her mom, dad, siblings, grandparents, and a host of others that loved her. that loved Lainey, rest easy, baby girl. Watch over us all.
Chillie, you one sick puppy. I've noticed when you're driving round smashed out of your face and operating your phones, you're not interested in about pedestrians and shit. You're too busy looking who's giving you attention. You could easily enough plough into somebody or somebody's daughter or granddaughter, but you wouldn't give a shit. I want to remind people that not so long ago, Chillie Decastro was wishing children like the picture you've just seen on the screen get bone cancer. He was wishing children like this to get bone cancer, not once but twice. Now, what does that say to you? Does it say to it this man's really deeply empathetic, or he's just grifting? Even the reactions he's doing now, bowing his head, sniffling, it's all an act, it's all fake. Anybody who falls for this crap has not seen what this guy is capable of saying or doing. He is a parasite. He is a worthless, scamming grifter.
So this is where it happened right here. Right down there on the left-hand side of the map, you're going to see the Elks Lodge. The reports that I've been getting is that Deputy Racer was racing down the 60. So if you look back here, I'm just going to come back a little bit. That's called the 60 right there. You see where the number 10 is on the left-hand side, just below Elks Lodge moved. I'm not sure if that's the old address or new location, but apparently that road right there where it says the word moved and then heading to the right towards 31st Street where Lainey is going to be struck and killed, that right there is called Route 60. That's called Route 60. So apparently Jeff Racer was cruising down Route 60 at over 80 miles an hour, and I've got several audio recordings of this. And then he struck Lainey and killed her. And she died, just so you guys know, she died upon impact. There was no scream, is what I was told today. That there wasn't even the sound of a yelp. She was just immediately killed. And so I made this video to kind of walk me through it, because this is what the cop car looked like.
Now, I've done a bit of light reading on this, and apparently there's witnesses that said that the officer had a green light, which means the girl crossed when she shouldn't have crossed. Now, this is also sad, and this is where Chillie will try and sensationalise and warp the narrative and basically stick his oar in and mix it up. Stir up emotions that he has no concept of. I mean, anybody who's anybody would have let these people in peace and let them grieve in their own time. Let them be angry at their own time. Yes, they're going to be angry at the officer. No, I very much doubt there's going to be a cover-up. For a start off, they would have got him off the scene straight away, because they knew, with the tensions in the air as they are with police, that a riot could start and people could get nasty. So they remove him out of the equation to stop that. Now, the police investigation, when it is released, we will see if he was driving dangerously or speeding or anything. Personally, I will wait until that report comes out and see the facts with my own eyes. Chillie, on the other hand, he's doing what he does best and sensationalising the bad steering people's emotions towards being angry so he can grift. Don't fall for it, people. What I want to remind people is just this one thing. It could happen to any driver out there. Any normal Tom, Dick or Harry could be driving along and a child could run out in front. It happens. Kids are by nature not built to pay attention to the surroundings. They're in, for lack of a better phrase, in a world of their own sometimes. I know I have 4 of them. And to be honest, there's been a couple of points where they've been trying to cross the road while on the phone, looking at the screen, not paying attention. Now, what really gets my goat up is the people who cast aspersions, who blame, who say shit, as if they've never used a phone while driving, never had a single pint while driving, never been doing anything like driving with the knees or having their hands in the wrong place while driving, even not paying attention, because everybody has done it at some time or another. Now, I'm not sticking up for the copper, nor am I chastising him. I'm just saying it could happen to anyone, any of us. And yes, this girl has died, and it's very, very tragic. This officer, if he has done nothing wrong, as in he was driving a normal speed or whatever, and she's basically just walked straight out. If he did have a green light, then he's got to live with that trauma of knowing he killed a young child. Now just put yourself in that position. How would you feel? Not easy, is it? It's always easy to blame and be angry, but never easy to understand.
He was speeding in his cruiser, and that is what now I was raised in Alaska, and the thing that we always had to look out for when we drove down the road was bear and moose. Mostly bear would run and hide most of the time. They didn't come out on the road, but the moose did. And when there's an indention in a car like that one, that means one of 2 or 3 things. One of 2 things for sure. The third could have both of them. That would mean that the weight of the moose that you hit had such an overwhelming amount of weight that it would dent the metal on top of your car or on the bumper. Or the second one would be that it's a small moose and that you hit it doing a very fast rate of speed. As you know, weight times velocity equals impact. If you've ever played football, then you know that weight times velocity equals impact. And the hood of this cruiser is destroyed from a 13-year-old girl that couldn't have weighed more than 90 pounds. So that's what we're looking at here, is that this guy was driving so ridiculously fast that is what happened to the police cruiser upon impact. And she didn't even get a sound out of her voice. She just died. So forgive me, I was rushing to get this video done as fast as I possibly could.
Ah, dear. For those of you out there who have got some sort of science education or background or understand physics in any such way, you as well as I know that Chillie is talking absolute bollocks. For a start off, Chillie, that's not how you calculate impact velocity. There's a lot of things taken consideration, one being gravity and time, angle of impact, speed of impact, weight of object, and a myriad of other things. And for the damage that's caused to that hood, it's a thin piece of, I don't know what they use in that cruiser, is it aluminium, steel? It wouldn't take a right lot to dent that bonnet. You can dent your own bonnet in your car with your hand by just pushing it in slightly. It wouldn't take much force to create that much damage. At all. So he's yet again talking out of his ass, making assumptions he has absolutely no qualifications and no insight into making, because he hasn't got a clue. I think the best person to ask him about this would probably be PhD Tony or maybe MC Toon. They're far more versed in physics than I am. I do know there's an equation that does include gravity, time and angle. And it certainly isn't what Chillie's just discussed. If anybody knows better, then please correct me if I'm wrong.
Before this, okay?
So on the phone here now, on the phone here now, you're going to hear a family member of Laney's who, when I spoke to this gentleman yesterday or the day before, I'm not going to play his entire recording, but I want you guys to hear exactly what this gentleman said and what is going on. As you know, if you're unaware, Ironton, the southern tip of Ohio, it bookends, and the three different West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky all end up in this little circle called the triangle right there. And there's several states that have these triangles right there in that little armpit of America in the Northeast right there. And so I want you guys to hear what the people, and then I'm going to go over a bunch more stuff here, but I want you to hear what this relative of Laney's said to me upon the incident, the death of Laney happening. So I want you to hear what he says here.
He was at a bar before this, okay? She said that he had just left the bar, and I'm not sure. She really couldn't talk a whole lot because you can hear cars honking their horns and stuff. You know, it was really loud.
I don't know about you people, but that did not sound like a recorded phone call. It sounded like he was recording an audio clip from a laptop. And then he shoves this shit all over it, while advertising delete more clips at the bottom. How? I mean, I'm really having trouble getting through this video because it is making me so fucking angry. The fact that he gets away with this crap constantly is winding me up. The fact that he stoops so low as to insert himself into other people's grief. If this was a little girl in the street getting knocked over by Joe Bloggs, you wouldn't hear anything about it. But it's the fact that it's news and it's going to be popular and bring him attention and let him grift. He's all over it. Like a 40-year-old virgin in a hooker.
So this is the reaction. I'm going to call this gentleman here in a moment. This is the reaction of the students and the some of the parents there, and hopefully I can get Alligator Jackson on the horn here. We were texting back and forth earlier, but I want you just to take a look at how the kids are reacting to this, to the death of Lainey Hudson. This is really hard for me to watch. It's hard for everybody to watch, I imagine, but.
Alligator Jackson coming to the line from down the courthouse. We have a rally for Lainey. Justice for Lainey. Young 13-year-old girl was killed the other night on 30th Street and 5th Avenue by an off-duty deputy sheriff. Sheriff's sitting at home right now.
I find it very telling that Lola Jackson here chimed in and said, "Get a lawyer from away from here." The corruption was there before I arrived in the tri-state area. However, what we did together with a group of us this last 2022 was we exposed how much open corruption goes on in that little tri-state area. And Lola Jackson kind of encapsulates all of that by simply saying, get a lawyer away from here, because the court system with the corrupt judges, the corrupt district attorneys, the corrupt county commissioners, the courts are owned by the powers that be. And so Lola Jackson here is saying, get a lawyer from away from here, because you're not going to get justice, because the lawyer that you hire from that local area will be compromised, because the powers that be there have so much power, because so many of you people on the right have been back the blue for so many decades that
Deputy Sheriff. Sheriff's sitting at home right now watching TV. I have no charges pending against him or nothing, bragging about nothing's going to happen to him. He's sitting at home until 13-year-old girl lost her life over it. It's bull crap. Very tragic. Very tragic. Has anybody come to talk to you all about this? Put you locked up. We're going straight to jail. They done DUI test on it or something. They didn't do nothing. They took us off the scene and left. And took him home. Has anybody tried to give an explanation, or has anybody, has the circle been in touch with you, or? The mother's not even talking to her. They told the mother that there was going to be an officer come up and pick her up, bring her up to the scene, let her know what was going on. She said there was an hour and a half and never showed up. She had to have her sister come and pick her up and take her to her daughter laying in the middle of 31st Street. No apology from the sheriff's department or anything? Admit guilt, they apologize. They say I'm sorry for killing your daughter. They're saying I did. They're not going to do that. But we're afraid to do that. They don't want to get that honesty that they're all driving one of their vehicles. The sheriff has you beaten and hit a 13-year-old little girl. Very tragic situation, everybody. You're having another vigil at 4:30 after this. It's the scene of the accident last night as well.
Oh, for fuck's sake, give it up, Chillie. No one's falling for your fake sniffling. Oh, it's so hard for me. Oh, boo-hoo. What we have here is a bunch of auditors out in the street riling up the locals, getting them into a frenzy and starting a pitchfork and torch hunt. A witch hunt, basically, a Frankenstein's monster hunt. all to further each one of their cop-hating grifts, all to put money in their pocket. You think about it, how many people have been knocked over by drunken drivers, drugged up drivers. Chillie, yep, you're a druggy driver because you've been driving stoned out of your brain and driving without due care and attention, which you've done many times on YouTube. Fact. Just got these into a frenzy. They wouldn't do it if it was Joe Smith who just knocked a girl over. You don't see it happening. This guy, this driver, was a human being, and he wasn't driving under the capacity of a police officer, but they're using this as their narrative. Bad cop, nasty corrupt pigs. Some of them might be corrupt, but not all. And the worst thing the Laney family can do is listen to anything Decastro has to say.
So I want to show you guys something here as we go forward through this video here. That you're going to see a lot of protesting here. So now you're going to get to some of these testimonials that we're going to go over on Facebook. And here's where Lacey Lee is going to say, badge or not, he needs to be held accountable for his negligence. So was it negligence? Because what we're actually hearing back is that it was beyond negligence. We're hearing that it was drunk driving. This is the kind of person we have so-called protecting and serving our community. Well, Lacey, let me just dispel that now. Police are no longer here to protect and serve us. They're here to fine us, fee us, and arrest us. The only solution for any problem on the street is, do you know you can go to jail for that? How many times in all these audits that we see is that the drop to, the go-to, the default line is that, do you know that you can go to jail for that? Well, if there's a thug jackboot like you here, then yeah. Otherwise, it would just be a free American enjoying his rights of freedom. And so Laney's life mattered.
You're damn straight her life mad. Thing is, Chillie, not so long ago you were defending a drink driver called Deborah. Oh my, why are you not mentioning this all of a sudden? What's happened, Chillie? Why aren't you defending her now? There's no victim in drink driving. But all of a sudden, when you can grift off of it, there's a problem with it. You've been exposed, you've been unveiled for the fucking parasite that you are. I mean, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Chillie's really sobbing over this girl's death? Do you think he really thinks badly of drink drivers? Or do you think he's just using it to ka-ching, ring up that till and let the cash flow in?
Off duty in a police cruiser, flashing lights, not on a call, to get through a light and taking a baby girl's life. Laney's life mattered. I agree with you, Lacey. So, and this was from Tyler Sloan. You can barely see his name here, but it pops up right here in the very beginning, Tyler Sloan. This man took my niece away from us. He's at home on administrative paid leave. Jeff Racer Jr., he's sitting at home with his kids and making statements, and he won't get indicted, and he won't get in any trouble. This man likes to flash his squad lights on while off duty so he don't have to stop for red lights. He likes to speed down Route 60 near 31st Street and blowing through a red light and striking my niece and killing her. Everyone look at his face. This man is a killer. Any other person would have been put in the back of a squad car, questioned, and taken to jail. But all they did is take Jeff from the scene as soon as it happened and let him go home. So, you know, I want to speak on that just for a moment, because the thing is that, you know, if you're a great big, hey, you doing? Thanks for the super chat. I'll forward that on. I'll forward half of that on to the Laney family, to Laney Hudson. So I want you guys to take notice of something here. When you hurt someone or you kill someone in your car, if the unthinkable happens, then what happens is you get separated from everybody. Your communication devices are taken away. You're sequestered so that we can then question you to find out what happened. In the James Sheets murder in Youngstown, Ohio, with the Struthers Police Department up there, when James Sheets was murdered by Tommy Shinneman, then what happened was he was allowed to sit there and text message and call his buddies who are also cops. Who are the first responders? The cops. So what happened in this situation here? They got to the scene, swooped him up in a car, and drove him out of there. Nobody could witness what his behavior was. There was no on the scene, and it just gets worse. This story just gets worse and worse. I hope the picture's okay. It looks a little funny for me, but I hope the picture's all right. I want to just continue going down these different screenshots I got today. So, you know, I'm sorry, let me fix that so that you guys can see a bigger screen here. I mean, look at that. It says that they just took him in a squad car and drove away. I mean, how is that justice? How is that justice? I mean, can someone just help me understand that? How is that justice by grabbing the guy who murdered someone and driving away and dropping him off at home, leaving him with his cell phone, and then communicate? The other cops just said to him, hey, just tell you what, we're just going to take you and drop you off at home, Jeff. We got this. We're going to cover this up for you. No problem, brother. Because there are multiple people from the bar who have called me and said, I was there, Jeff Racer was there drinking. So.
All right, Chillie. Show us the proof. Show us the evidence that I was there at the bar drinking. Because what I've read is that on the sobriety test, he passed with flying colours. I also heard there was a green light, giving him right of way. I also heard a dozen other things. You're passing off what you heard by Joe Blogs and Mary Squat on the street as fact because it supports your grift. It's that plain and it's that simple. Where's your proof? Show us your proof. Show us your evidence. I've witnessed people who have been totally legit and legal, totally sober, been in a car accident, and they have been taken home. Not to a police station, but taken home until the investigation, is ongoing, especially if a crowd gathers. It's to avoid any trouble. Now, furthermore, Chillie, I'd like to know who you're getting this information from and how you fact-checked it. Face it, Chillie, no one's rang you, no one's given you inside information, and no one can be bothered with you. You're all blowing smoke up your own arse.
Explain this to me, Cabell Sheriff's Department, because I'm not going to tell you who those witnesses are, because I want you guys to have as many of those bad cops fired as possible, because there are people from the bar who have contacted me. And if you have any information, go ahead and reach out to me. You can reach me through DeleteLawz@gmail. There's all kinds of ways to reach me. If you just look online, you can find out how to reach me. It's not hard at all. I want to hear from more people. I want to hear from more people who are sitting right next to Jeff Racer at the bar as he's pounding drinks. But this gets better in just 1 second. In 1 second, this whole story really kicks up a notch. So then as I was going down Facebook today, I was just reading them. So Morgan Gall here, she's going to comment, am I the only one who's catching on to the changes in the stories? First, the statement, let me go back on that. Sorry about that. First, the statement from Wellman was that field sobriety tests were given on the scene. Well, we don't know that because the first responders are all cops. So we have no idea what happened. We have no clue what happened because there's no third party. There's just this one organization and they have absolute power over us. If you even slightly resist your arm being grabbed, they will tase you, shoot you, kill you, throw you under the ground 15 feet under, put the jail on top of you. If you show any kind of flexion in your face that you might want to resist them, well, then you can be stomped to the ground like a pack of horses are going over the top of you. But this cop, he kills a 13-year-old girl to the point where it mangles his patrol car, mangles the patrol car that you and I pay for, that he shouldn't be driving off duty and drinking. And then it says that now it's 2 breathalyzer tests were given on the scene. And then he was transferred for a field sobriety test. Do you believe any of this? Put a 1 in the chat if you don't believe a single bit of it. Put a 1 in the chat if you think everything that Morgan Gall was told is a lie. Put a 1 in the chat if you think these cops are going to try to cover this up from beginning to the end. This is disgusting. And Morgan Gall, you got it.
No, Chillie, I'll tell you what's disgusting, pal, is you. Using a girl's death to further your own little hate campaign because when you were 21 years old, a police officer touched you. And you didn't like it and you hate yourself because he touched you. You didn't like it, did you? So now you're using the rest of your life and anything you can to grift and to seek revenge on police. Not one thing you said there has any place in reality or fact. It has nothing to back up the information that you've just given. You're just pouring petrol on the flames. You're hoping for another complete and utter riot so you can earn money off of it. I know people sound like a broken record, but if you agree with me, I'll do a Chillie. If you agree with me, please leave a comment in the chat. In the comment section. I'm sorry this video's not my usual light-hearted self. It's just this has really wound me up. And having to listen to it, this is the second time I've gone through it. And it's angering, to say the least.
You nailed it. You know it. You are literally saying what the adults in our country have become afraid to say. There's a very popular TikTok thing going around right now where it says, you know, you can talk to people about anything, but if you talk about how many people are going to jail, if you talk about, man, maybe they kind of scammed us in 2020, if you talk about anything of importance, like why are we being taxed so much? The entire table just shuts down like you're a leper. Why is it that cops get to investigate cops and we just continue to allow this? We're now in 2023 in the height of the digital era. And look at this. Morgan Gall, I think she's 18 years old, and she is saying out loud what the adults in this country are not saying. There is a cover-up going on, and Lainey Hudson's murder is going to be swept under the rug, just like the other kid up there. What was his name? Travis or Trayton, what was his name? Right there, Huntington, West Virginia cops. He died in a creek after he won a settlement. Trayvon, what was his name? I'm not Trayvon Martin. His name was Trap Treasure. I'll get it. Someone will put it in the chat. Let me take a look real quick at the chat. What was that kid's name who was killed up there? They found him dead in the creek. Yeah. I didn't even see the 1s or the 2s. I'm so sorry. I didn't even see it. Oh, I don't even know who some of you guys are. I mean, you guys are just in the wrong place. You're on the wrong channel. You know, other channels are really a lot more liberal than I am, and you can go there and you can say all the shitty things you want, and they'll keep you around. not me. I just kick you right off my channel. So moderators, for these boot sucking boot lickers, just feel free just to send them to the YouTube graveyard of their username, and they can create another one, but I don't care. So, you know, if we could release all of the body cam footage. Oh, I know it, Charles. I've received dozens of phone calls, dozens of messages, people asking me to come back to West Virginia. Okay, so the link to the family's GoFundMe is pinned at the top of the chat. So if anybody wants to donate money in, I'd appreciate it. But let's finish this video. You know, all across our country, Morgan Gall is saying what so many Generation X and boomers are just so afraid to say. The cops in our country are corrupt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's that way. I'm sorry that you haven't been affected by it and it hasn't ruined your cousin, your brother, your best friend, or your lover. I'm sorry it hasn't ruined you yet so that you no longer back law enforcers in our country. Because what happened with Laney? A bunch of law enforcers showed up and said, get this law enforcer out of here and let's cover the tracks. I got people from the bar who have called me. I've got Laney's family and friends who have called me. I'm well aware of what's going on. There are things I'm not saying right now, in hopes and prayers that we can get justice for this little girl. There are things I'm holding back on saying because I don't want to taint it. I want to make sure we can get this information solidified so that we have it locked in. And if any of you get questioned by the police in Huntington, West Virginia, or Ashland, Kentucky, you make sure you have a lawyer there. They will try to twist your story. They will try to contort your story. They will try to twist what you think you saw. Oh, I was at the bar with Jeff Racer, but I didn't really see him drinking. But did you see him drink? Don't you ever go in front of cops without a lawyer, especially when you're talking about the death of a 13-year-old little girl.
You see, this is one of Chillie's little tricks. He's got insider information and updates like, you won't release at the minute, but I'll release in the next video. That's exactly what he said in the last video. And he did say he was going to ring the family members and talk to them on the phone, which we're now 40 odd minutes into the film, into the YouTube video, film, and nothing. And you're on about poisoning the well. So far you've said everything that isn't factual, isn't backed up by evidence. It's hearsay. But yet you said that. So why won't you say this inside information? Because you want until wait and see what happens and see what's locked in? Tell me this, Chillie. What are you going to do if it finds out that this girl, it was this girl's fault? What will you do then? Will you carry on with your narrative saying it's a cover-up and it's disgusting and sick? Probably. Because you'll see that as a way to grift more cash and get more drama. I think the word honest, you've never ever used it before. Try using it now, mate. See how good it feels.
So it's I literally have been working on this all day. Just talking to people, putting little clips together for you guys because so Morgan Gall is well aware. They didn't give him a breathalyzer. They put him in a car and they got him out of there. But this story is going to click up in 1 second. So stay with me for 1 second. This story has a real hook to it right here. Maybe 2 more slides. Not even. We're less than 1 minute before this little presentation. The fact the girl passenger won't speak is a red flag. She's been told not to say anything. It's because they will try to cover this up. CC Ross, you nailed it. It's my cousin's name, by the way. We can't let this get covered. Justice for Laney, 100%. So what exactly is CC Ross talking about right there? Hannah Elizabeth Giamarino, okay? Hannah Elizabeth Giamarino was with Jeff Racer in his police cruiser. The story I'm being told is that Jeff Racer was in a improper relationship because he's married, and that the cops who came there to save him, They actually swooped him up and took him to his house where his wife kicked him out. And this is the story I'm hearing. So I don't know what's true and what's not. These are the stories I'm getting from West Virginia and from Kentucky and from Ohio. So apparently Hannah Elizabeth Giammarino was with Jeff Racer. You know, Hannah, listen, call me. Because Hannah, your credit card bills are going to get subpoenaed, as are Jeff Racer's, how many drinks were paid for. The bartenders will be subpoenaed. Hannah, you're not going to be able to lie your way out of this for them. There are too many people involved. And now that we finally have the youth involved, things will change. Remember, the civil rights movement through the 1960s, the average age of someone protesting and fighting for civil rights was 15 years old. An old person was 19. Most of them were 13, 14, and 15 years old fighting for civil rights in the 1960s. We are having history repeat itself in the 2020s. We are fighting for our freedom. We are fighting for our rights in this country. And finally, we have the young people super engaged because Lainey was a young person and she was killed by a cop. And let me tell you something, coppers, you don't have one speck of the energy of these junior high and high school kids. You don't even have one speck of their energy. Do you know that I have about a dozen high school young adults who constantly check in with me, who are constantly sending me information about what those cops are doing in Ironton? Constantly. 12. At least every second that I speak, it makes me more and more upset. Hannah Elizabeth Giammarino, she's right there in that area. Hannah, you're not going to be able to lie, cheat, and steal you. You're not one of them, Hannah. They will turn on you. They will turn on you just like I told those people in Ironton who were great big copsuckers, and they turned on them. They're going to turn on you, Hannah. They're going to hang you out to dry. Don't think that they won't, Hannah. They will hang you out to dry. They don't care about you. They only care about their own, Hannah. I strongly recommend that you call me and we record your phone call so we can get the truth out before they try to twist you. And Hannah, it gets even worse because not only will they try to twist and convert you, they'll threaten your friends, they'll threaten your family, they'll arrest your family members. There is no limit to what the state will do to protect bad actors. We're seeing that in New York with billions of dollars of lawsuits against law enforcers because Americans don't want law enforcers. And I'm telling you, we're on the precipice of change. We're on the precipice of change right now. We're right there. We're so close. We are so close. So Hannah Elizabeth Giammarino, you can give me a call. You can give me a call. Okay. Hannah needs to talk. We need to get Hannah on the record before the cops are going to, you know what? They got to her last night. Remember, they told her a bunch of things, but what Hannah doesn't know is that these cops will turn on her in a heartbeat. If they think that protecting Hannah is going to in any way, shape, or form going to hinder or harm or in any way indict their little copper, then they'll turn on you, Hannah. They'll turn on you in 2 seconds flat.
Hannah, if you ever get to listen to this, don't fucking contact Chillie. He's still upset that he got touched when he was younger by a copper without his permission. And Chillie, is it by any chance, by experience, why the cops will turn you? Did they happen to turn against you when you snitched to get yourself out of those drug charges? To get, to make a deal? Is that what happened then? Is that why you're so angry? Just a question, Chillie. Just a question. And what has all this got to do with the young girl now? You veered off again, right, left and centre, and it seems to be more about the coppers are bad. That's all it seems to be about.
I mean, it's just incredible to me. It is just incredible to me. And Hannah, you have a chance to come forward right now. and put a ding in this police state, prison state, death state. There should be some laws passed from this, and the laws passed should be this. Police, when they hurt or kill someone, become sequestered. Police who hurt or kill a citizen should be sequestered. Their communication device should be stripped from them. Their body cam, or should be eye camera, should be stripped from them. And any form of communication with other cops should be immediately stopped, sequestered. So that means if a half a dozen cops get into a bunch of fights with a bunch of people, those half a dozen cops should be separated. And then the investigation should be done by a third party organization. Because when they covered this up over there, when they covered this up in West Virginia, you know, I'm really working on the bigger picture on a way to change the system. However, each one of these little cases gets me so upset. And let me just real quick, let me just throw a picture up and so you guys can, but Hannah, you need to come forward. Hannah, you can give me a call if you would, please. You can give me a call. I'm not hard to reach. I'm really easy to find. Everybody has my phone number. So if you guys could please reach out to Hannah Elizabeth Giamarino and any of her friends or family and ask her to give me a call, because let me just tell you something, Hannah. Jeff Racer will throw you under the bus in 2 seconds flat. He was with you and he had a wife.
For a start off, Chillie, you're not going to change anything. You really are, sunshine. I mean, what have you changed so far in the 7 years you've been doing this? Is it now? Probably longer. You've done sweet fuck all. On top of that, sunshine, why are you saying this woman's name on the internet out loud so people can harass her? She doesn't want probably to be harassed or be involved in a great sense. And she certainly doesn't want to talk to a fucking hobo grifter like you. You really are a poisonous little dwarf, aren't you? Fuck me. You can tell no one's ringing Chillie and he hasn't got inside sources because he's begging now on the internet for people to contact him with news so he can get the story and become important and insert himself in the middle of it again. And Chillie, how do you know all these things weren't done in the first place? How do you know his phone wasn't taken from him? Were you there? Mind you, if you were there, probably people wouldn't have seen you anywhere. You're the ultimate stealth machine. You're that tiny, no one's going to spot you. Fucking hell, man. Anyway, Chillie, you are a scum. You are just complete and utter scum, sunshine. What also has got me, Chillie, is you've instantly thought that he's shagging this bitch. I mean, where do you get the information from for that? The evidence? You know, there are people that are platonic friends. It could be a relative of his wife's, for all you know. But straight away, no, you jump to his shagging her. Get a grip, Chillie. You're about as an investigative fucking journalist as I am a brain surgeon.
He doesn't give two rips about you, Hannah. He doesn't care about you. All the cops want to do is protect and defend themselves. Meanwhile, Hannah, you are going to be a leper in that community. That community will spit you out. I'm telling you right now, Hannah, if I were you, I would get in front of this as quickly as you possibly can. Those cops don't give two bits about you, Hannah. They don't care about you. They'll do anything they can to make sure that you do what will help them make sure that their little copper doesn't get pinched. When the truth is that there's no rule of law in our country. If you have a badge and you're connected on the inside, laws don't apply to you. And Hannah, you're going to perpetuate that. I just want to be clear. I want people to be clear that this woman has an opportunity to show everybody that she is not a part of the police state, prison state, death state. That she's not a part of it. But it won't work. It won't work if she tries to cover up for these people. I want to show you guys something. Let me share this screen with you guys so you guys can see what I'm looking at. It's just disgusting what they're going to do. It's just disgusting. And you know they're going to try to hide this. They're going to try to hide this. They simply will. So this is Justice for Laney right here. I just put over here. You see where I put Justice for Laney? Right over here. And then when you scroll down this here,
They'll be at the courthouse tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. They'll be out here protesting every day, 4:30. They aren't backing down. And I want to personally apologize for a lot of the comments that got on my page today. I'm totally on the family side and request for justice. I believe there needs to be answers. I'm not really saying.
so let me tell you what he's talking about, just so you guys know what he's saying. What he's talking about over there is when you go to his page and you read the comments, we've created this cop sucker in America where they got that cop stick so far down their throat, it's hitting their stomach. We've created this cop sucker that the law is the most important thing. And that means the law person is the most important thing. That this man's page was inundated with people who were cop sucking, saying, well, what was she doing out at 10:30 at night? She's a teenage girl. You should be able to go out till midnight. You should be able to go out till any time you want without getting ran down by people we pay who are supposed to be protectors. Let's end the bullshit. Cops are not here to protect us. Put a 1 in the.
Yeah, again, you bring it back to police officers. He was off duty. Fuck's sake, man. Do you not understand this, Chillie? This is not supposed to be about you, this video, or about your ridiculous thinking that you're going to change society and be important so everybody can bow down at your feet, because that's what you wanted. It's not about that. It just proves to show that you have no clue about being a parent or what it's like to be a parent. Now, 10:30 at night, I wouldn't let my 13-year-old daughter out hanging around on the street at that time of night. Some people may do, but I'm sorry, but I personally wouldn't. Let me know in the comments down below if you would let your 13-year-old girl out at 10:30 at night on the streets. Fuck's sake, Chillie, you just haven't got a clue. You're oblivious. You're trying to act your way to being a human or an approximation. You try and fake emotions that you have no real concept of. Pretending to cry and stuff for sympathy and sniffling like you're really upset. You couldn't give a flying fuck about this girl. You really couldn't give a fuck. I think that's what's boiling my blood. That you're doing this. Like mediums, they boil my blood. Preying on people's grief. He's done it to Tina. He's grifted off other people and their misery. He supported Deborah in her drinking and driving, saying it's not harming anybody. Yet you're doing a complete flip around now, aren't you? Drinking's bad, isn't it, Chillie? There's a victim now, isn't there, Chillie? Now do you see? You haven't brought it up, you haven't admitted you were wrong because you're a spineless cunt.
Just put a 2 in the chat if you think this was clean. I agree with you, Greg. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that the cops are covering this up. Put a 1 in the chat if you think the cops are covering this up. Put a 2 in the chat if you think the cops are doing this all fair and legit. They went there, they gave him a breath test, they took away his phone, took away his communication devices, interviewed the bartenders in bars where he was. I mean, Put a 1 in the chat if you think they cheated. Put a 2 in the chat if you think they did it right. When you have cops investigating cops, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get it every single time. And as long as we have this, I literally want to scream at the top of my lungs. I want to scream at the top of my lungs right now. You murderers, you cover-up artists, you jackboot thug status losers.
Come on. Fucking hell. Do you think anybody can swallow that little fucking act? Were you going for a freaking Oscar or a Golden Globe? God, what a prick. I just want to grab hold of his head and crush it. Okay, now, what a slimy little toad. You know, Chillie is like one of those little ants. You know, the annoying little fuckers that you just stamp on. You keep your foot there and you think, yeah, I got the little bastard. And all of a sudden it crawls from underneath your foot because it's got in between your treads in your flipping trainers. You do it again and it's done the same thing again. The little bastard's got in between, slipped through and got away. Chillie is exactly like that.
You guys are the problem with our country. The police in this country are the problem. Law enforcement in America is the problem. We've given them absolute power. This piece of garbage can drive home drunk with a mistress, and there's still a third of the people who are like, yay for cops, yay for cops. If you didn't know you were in a war up there in the tri-state area, now you do. Even Alligator here, even Alligator was saying earlier, let me see if I can get her, because I can just sit here and rail and scream about cops all day. I don't have any respect for any of them, because you guys are all a part of this you're all a part of the same BS. You dirty cops would help cover for the other dirty cops. And if you're like, oh, not me, why is he saying that about good cops? I'm a good cop. Resign and help start a new third party that investigates cops. Resign and help start a new third party that gets all the dash cam footage, all the body cam footage, and the citizens get an opportunity to that camera footage within 24 hours. If you're a good cop, then quit, because what you joined is the Death Star. You joined a terrible organization. And you can see it now. And all the folks in Ironton and in West Virginia, in Coalgrove, in Proctorville, in every little in Soto County, you guys are seeing it. You're seeing it, that the cops can do whatever they want and get away with murder. They can have a side chick. They can be cruising around in the car that you and I pay for. And if they kill a 13-year-old little girl, let's get him out of there quick and start the cover up. You're seeing it. You're seeing it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. You don't have to be a mathematician. This is not even quadratic formula, which is a high school algebra equation. This isn't hard. You guys are witnessing it. You're seeing it. And now a little girl is dead. And I was talking to Opal earlier. I was talking to Opal earlier. Let me see if I can just play a little clip of this. And I want to make sure that we protect the information that
Okay, well, I got you on the phone. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, what all am I sending you?
okay, hold on a second.
Live in about 58 minutes. I'm going to come tirelessly to try to get the truth. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So I got the cop car pictures, and I got. Is that in Huntington? Screenshot of this.
Okay.
One second. This is heavy stuff, you know. It's you're talking about a 13-year-old girl who's just living her life. And you know, I want to go back and I want to show you guys this. I want to show you guys this real quick. because I want you guys to see something, because I know the layout because I was there for several months, but I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to really see what Lainey was, you know, all the people who are going to talk trash about this young girl who was So this is it right here. This right here is where Lainey is going to be killed, where the 60 and the 31 is right here. So there's the Elks Lodge bar. And then this right here is where Lainey's going to die. But take a look at these roads back here. This isn't a freeway. This is the road going over into Ohio right here from West Virginia. So this is not some gigantic town. If you zoom in, I mean, look, you're talking about house, you know, this isn't a huge area. And she's going to be killed right here at 5th and 31st Street. She flies a block and a half down the street. I mean, look, this is a small little area. This isn't a huge area. They barely have enough seats there to have a representative. I don't even know if they do have a representative. Ironton had one. I don't know if they did or not.
Now, Chillie Binks, it seems to me that you're all up about justice and whatever else, and innocent before proven guilty. Seems you're insinuating guilt before there's any sort of investigation. You yourself have appointed yourself as a social media equivalent of judge, jury and executioner, as long as it benefits you. And you're doing your best to sway as many people as you can into using this girl's death into hating the police. Oh, I've really had enough of this video. It's really wound me up. I'm really sorry, but it really has. It's really, really got to me, this. And on top of that, Chillie is trying for an Oscar. Now, you see, I can see it from both sides of the fence because I'm not emotionally involved in the incident. The parents and the family are going to be angry and they're going to wanting to find someone to blame. Even if it turns out that it was this girl's fault for not paying attention for walking across the street. If that happens, at this moment in time, they're still going to want someone to blame. And at the moment, they're focusing on the driver, which is understandable. But Chillie is using that narrative and fueling the fire. Because maybe he thinks it's funny. Maybe he thinks, you know, oh great, I can use this. Get my revenge because some copper touched me without my consent. And, you know, he's never, ever let it go ever since. And this is what happens to you, become a bitter little troll.
This isn't a freeway. Look how close the sidewalk is here. You're doing 80 here. Someone's walking on the sidewalk right there. Why are they driving that fast through there? Well, because he's a little copper and he thinks he can get away with driving however he wants. Now this copper is sitting at home saying how he's not going to be indicted, saying how his boys picked him up, took him in, and then they protected him and kept him safe from harm. But meanwhile, Hannah has the whole story. Hannah has the story. Hannah, you're not one of them. I'm telling you now, they will dump on you in 2 seconds flat if they think it's going to protect one of them. You are not on their team, Hannah. They are against you. They will cheat you. And if you guys are just joining, there is a GoFundMe pinned at the top of this. This is just, I'm just showing you guys, and I'm really holding back because I have a ton of information that I'm not sharing yet from Lainey's friends and family who have been calling me all day long. I want you guys to hear a part of this real quick. That's why I even took the time just to charge my phone up, my headphones up real quick. I want you guys to hear what Opal says here. This is Lainey's mother on the phone, and I want you to hear what she says here. Let me make sure. I want to make sure I protect anything. Okay, I got this.
I really
You guys got to hear what she says. This is so profound, and she puts it into just the most simplistic way. And it's her daughter, so it's, you know, you can't. Wait till you hear this. Wow, this is incredible. So I can't take a chance on any of this leaking. And so if you were on the scene, if anybody was at the Elks bar, if
I've cut some of this stuff out that Chillie's done because he's just going over the same thing like he went through 10 minutes ago in his video. Now, as you can just see, he's just tried to make out as if he was going to play a phone call from the mother. Now, two things. Now, either Chillie's faking this and it's a complete and utter bullshit, because I'm sorry I couldn't hear jack shit in that phone call then. And even if he has, Chillie, you've just recorded a grieving mother's phone call and now you're putting it on YouTube. You are fucked up.
if anybody was on the scene of the accident, if any witnesses are out there, please don't hesitate to contact me. Please don't hesitate. I hate to say this. Don't go to the cops. I mean, that's where we are in our country right now. Don't go to the police. Put it out into the media. Show everybody. The only thing that works in our country is transparency. If you have information, call me. Get a hold of me. Delete Lawz at Gmail. Can't get body cam at Gmail. Do not go to the police. They will twist your story. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me that you can't go to the cops. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me that going to the cops would be a bad thing. Put a 1 in the chat. Isn't this crazy? I'm sitting here saying right now, if you have information about this death, don't go to the cops. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. If you know you can't go to the cops. Wow, just really, really sad. Just really sad. Wow. Most people don't go to the cops. If you're a witness of this, don't go to the cops. Call me. Reach out to me. Reach out to me. Go. What? No, Ethric, going to her family may not be as good as getting that information publicly put out into a voice memo or put out into a video. Because if you go to the cops, they're going to twist your story. And then do you have a cousin who's on probation? Is your dad on probation? Is your mom a recovering drug addict? Is your sister or brother a recovering drug addict, or are they on probation? Because if you go to the cops with your story and they don't like what you say, then they might say, well, you know, your brother's walking the line right now. And if you bring this out, I mean, I just unblocked you. Like, I just unblocked.
The more and more Chillie speaks, the more and more I'm convinced he's suffering from weed psychosis or some sort of paranoid psychosis caused by... I wonder what that could be. Every single day. Everything's got to be about cops and the fact that he can't let the single thing that happened to him over 20 odd years ago alone.
You a-hole. And now I'm going to block you again. Whatever, dude. If you don't have any empathy for this little girl and you don't know the cops are going to cover it up, well then, dude, you're meant to. You're not a troll. You're a pig. You're a pig on the internet. These people, just so you guys know, a lot of the people who come here, the people in this chat right now who are saying horrible things, those are cops and their family members. I've tracked down a bunch of them. I just can't do anything about it. There's cops all over the country who are trolls on the internet. They're not. They're cops. Like some of the people in here saying things. They're cops. Don't you get it? Their son's a cop, their dad's a cop, their brother's a cop, their best friend's a cop. They're cops, or they're cop suckers. You take a cucumber, shove it in your cheek, and that's what they are. So remember, you're always going to have these different people who are going to come in here and talk the trash that they talk. You know what I mean? And then here's Kate, everybody. Nope, wasn't me. That is Kate Peter in here trolling my account. I don't even know you. Just a wacky person. You're just a wacky human being. There is a 13-year-old girl named Lainey Hudson who's dead right now. There's a GoFundMe here at the top of the link. So if you want to do something, why don't you?
And there you have it, folks. Exactly what Chillie wants. And taking to the streets, rioting and protesting. What a scumbag you are. What a little knob-rotting Rob-brash. Fucking hell. You troglodyte. Fucking what a pillock. Oh, man.
Absolute dunce cap. Yeah, I don't want to single anybody out. I better just keep, A woman here writes, let me see if I can hide her name so I don't single her out. There, I got her name hidden. So now I'll pull it back up and I'll show you guys what this woman put here. And it's like, lady, like, don't you understand that you literally are a part of the problem? Like, don't you really understand that? Like, she literally does not understand that she is such a part of the problem. So right here it said, I do not condone the actions or the attitudes of several people towards police officers just doing their jobs. Oh, honey, that's not how it's going in our country. Cops aren't just doing their jobs. Cops are the problem in our country.
No, Chillie, the problem in your country is you and frauditors like you. The only thing you're going to achieve in your little crusade is getting the right to film in public, or film police or film government officials to be revoked because you've abused it. Auditing people in the streets now, private citizens, libraries, post offices. I mean, fucking hell. Have you ever heard of actually doing a hard day's graft yourself instead of harassing the people that probably pay your welfare?
Law enforcers in America is the problem. That is wrong and not the way to get justice. We don't get justice in our country. There's no such thing as justice in our country. We don't get justice here. That's not how it works. The cops profiteer off of crimes. I mean, you can't cop suck and say justice for Lainey in the same paragraph. Sorry, honey. Sorry. You can't say cops are just doing their jobs and then go, but justice for Lainey. No, the cops literally held up justice. The cops literally cheated justice. The cops literally were hiding and are hiding justice from all of us. So I would highly recommend that you re-examine your position. For the woman who wrote this, and I'm sure you'll see it, you need to re-examine your position. Police are not just doing their jobs in our country. Their jobs is to defend our rights. They've now turned into law enforcers. They're not rights protectors. So they're not just doing their job. Their job is to do proactive policing. Go and investigate you or your family or your friends or your son. Go investigate people that you know and love, and then try to arrest them for something. That's not just doing your job as a rights protector. That is tyrannical police state, prison state, death state stuff that I've been talking about for over almost 2 years, a year and 3 months now. I mean, like, this is not... Cops are not just doing their job. Cops aren't just doing their job. That's not what's happening. If that's what was happening, then I wouldn't be here and there wouldn't be a couple hundred people just sitting here following the story. That's not what's happening. How can you even write that? Cops are just doing their jobs, but justice for Laney? The cops came to hide the truth. The cops came to get Jeff Racer Jr. and rush him out of there. The cops came there to cover it up. They're just doing their job covering it up. Is that what you're saying? I mean, look at this person's post.
Now, it seems a bit suspicious to me that Chillie's hiding the top of that. And more likely the context is that she was defending the police, investigating a scene, the people that are harassing the police officers that were investigating the crash. That's what she probably meant. But no, you know exactly what she meant, and you're going to try and play dumb and turn it into something vicious. Because that's all you do. Anything to bolster up your attention seeking, your narcissism, your sociopathic paranoid behaviour. Anything to get that bit of attention. Because let's face it, Chillie, it's the end for you. YouTube career's almost in the bucket. Everybody who makes videos about you is getting more views than you. Everybody who's got any sort of connection to making videos, in fact, is getting near enough to equal or more views and probably earning more than you off of your YouTube channel. You don't want to admit it, and it's tearing you up because you're not the centre of attention anymore. I don't know, people, what do you think? Do you think Chillie's at the end of his rope now? He's worn out his lolcal usefulness? Because this, for me, this has been really harrowing. Because the amount of false emotions and acting he's doing and thinking that people are stupid, not giving people their just desserts for the intellect that they have, thinking that everyone's dumb and they'll fall for his stupendous acting. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old and grumpy. I could be, couldn't I?
Oh, hey, douchebag, let me help you out. You know, speeding is one thing. Speeding drunk in a cop car is another, douchebag. How about that? How about that? Speeding in a car that weighs 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, rushing through a 30-mile-an-hour zone at 80 miles an hour, as you've already sworn to uphold people's rights, can't compare a light doing 10 miles over in the desert to a pig speeding down the road and killing a 13-year-old girl. So, you know, you can't compare those two things. You know, someone lightly speeding, someone, you know, if you're doing over 100, over 110 miles an hour and there's a bunch of cars on the road, you're driving too reckless. If you're doing 100 miles an hour in the desert in the middle of the night and there's nobody around, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem when you're doing 80 miles an hour through a residential area. We already walked through it. Just get your illogical fallacies correct. Come correct with your illogical fallacy, because remember, I've taught that.
Here he goes with his shit again. Chillie, you've taught fuck all, mate. What have you taught? You can't even pronounce the word correctly. Fallacies. Not hard, is it? You've taught this, you've taught that, you've done this, you've done that. As I've proved from my last video. I mean, that was just golden. The way you were trying to act in that. You're like a 12-year-old boy who's watched too many Arnold Schwarzenegger films. Monologuing. Oh, Christ. Make sure that you're getting, you know, that speeding in the desert is different from speeding in residential area. Yeah, because you speed all the fucking time. You don't pay attention on the road. You drive high as fuck. High as a giraffe. You've even admitted it on bloody stream. While driving. But no, it's all right for you to do it, isn't it, Chillie? And as for coppers covering everything up, well, how do you explain police officers in prison? Obviously, they didn't get covered up, did they? Oh, but no, Chillie. That must have been an exception to the rule. And must have been some outside force. Some sort of conspiracy to protect other police officers. Because you're a paranoid piece of shit. Talk bollocks, mate. You have no clue how a country is run. You have no clue how society is run. You haven't even got a clue about emotions or how to treat people who are grieving. Like leaving them all alone. But no, Chillie sees an opportunity and he's there fapping away. You sick little puppy.
I think I would be the grand champion of illogical fallacies. Only one of the other guys in the world who's a First Amendment auditor who'd be better at me, and he just uses them for everything.
This is where she got hit at this intersection.
So take a look at that. Take a look at that. That is a house on a corner right there. There's no need to be doing 90 miles an hour through here. There's no need for this. Look how close the houses are to the edge of the road. This is a 30, 35 mile an hour zone, 40 at the most. I mean, that area right there is a 30, 35 miles. I mean, at the most, you know. So you're talking about a cop driving like a maniac through there. It's just so unacceptable what we're seeing here.
So this is where she got hit.
I mean, and look at that. Look at all the kids who brought flowers and candles out for Lainey. I think this is a candlelight vigil, so those are all candles right there. Look how many people brought out candles for Lainey to. Let me see if I can reach her real quick.
Hello.
Opal, how are you? I got you on speakerphone here, and there's a couple hundred people here listening to you talk right now, so I just wanted to give you a call and see how you were doing.
Okay, I'm I'm at this candle light visual right now. There's still a few people out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing Lainey's favorite songs.
Yeah. I had to take that song off of the video that you made because they'll kick the video off of YouTube. So I had to change the song. But just so you know, when I listened to it, it was absolutely devastating to hear that.
Yeah. Now what is it now?
So I've got about 250 people listening to you talk right now. And if there's anything that you want to say and let people know, do you feel like there's a cover up going on right now? It's reconnecting. Are you still there? Do I still got you? My phone's reconnecting here. 1 second. I can't hear you, but my phone's reconnecting. Still, damn it. Let me try to get her back on here. And I'm going to edit the audio from earlier so you guys can hear what she thinks. I just don't want to release anything that could hurt anybody. I'm with you, Top Rock. I'm with you all the way, dude. Exactly right. Yeah. Sure thing, buddy. Sure thing. Let me try to reach her one more time. This woman sounds like she's going through hell right now. It's not true, Butch. I can't reach her again. Let me call.
Right here, I was deciding whether or not I should leave that in. Because to me, it is the most despicable, unempathetic thing a human being could do. You've just rang her when she said she's at a vigil. And you don't ask anything how she's coping. You don't ask any questions that even invoke the slightest sense of that you care. It's straight to, do you think there's a cover-up? Do you think there's a cover-up? And then for some reason the phone goes dead. Chillie, you are despicable. Let me know in the chat, bloody hell, I think I'm on live stream. Let me know down below if you think Chillie was in the right pulling this stunt. Because so far we've just had fake acting, fake emotions, lies, pointing off lies as fact. I mean, I don't even know if this off-duty police officer was doing 80 miles an hour. I mean, to me, if you hit the girl at 80 miles an hour, that sort of speed, from what I know, she would have gone flying over the top of the car. And I just don't believe he did this. I can't even believe Chillie would stoop this fucking low to do it, man. What a fucking idiot. I'm really sorry, people. I can't be more jolly or have a happy-go mood with this. This is just... It's just... It's sick. He is a sick puppy, and he needs filling with colourful pills and putting in a nice tightly fitting jacket in a snug room.
Thanks, Chevy. Appreciate you, man. So, let me see what we can see over here. Okay. So that was what you guys saw last. And I just put over here Justice for Laney over here on Facebook. And you can just scroll down and see. Y'all, please keep my girls, Jessie Marie, Opal, Sloan, and the rest of the family in your prayers. There is a GoFundMe at the top of this stream. If you guys would donate $5 or $10, that would help them a lot. I mean, look, these aren't even young adults. These are little kids. These are little kids that are getting mowed down by cops in the streets, and now the cop suckers are going to try to figure out a way to defend them. Just my observations regarding the lack of pedestrian safety measures on 31st and 5th where Laney was killed. Well, I mean, that's cool, Josh. Thanks for saying that. But the truth is that if you're not driving 80 through there, you can juice the brakes and probably stop in time, and you're not going to kill a little girl. Blood is on the hands of an off-duty officer that is being covered up by Cable County Sheriff's Office. The news cut of the mother's speech in front of them yesterday, and this man is freely living life as as a family mourns the loss of their child. I mean, and look at that. Look at the Cable County it looks like Raiders colors almost, doesn't it? I mean, take a look at that. Doesn't that look like something from the Raiders, from the Las Vegas Raiders? Why do we allow the people we pay to uphold our rights to dress as though they're some sort of executioner, or they're on the Raiders football team? And if you're unfamiliar with the Raiders, if you don't watch any football, they've been known as the bad boys, as the rough gang for years, since the inception of the Raiders football team. And now you take a look at the Cable County Sheriff's badge, it looks just like the bad boys, the executioners, the enforcers, the killers. That's what that Cable County Sheriff's. Why isn't it white, yellow, and red so you can see it? So it's big, so people can see it. Just trash.
You see, this is a problem with today's culture. Facebook is not the place to get facts. It's basically the place for people who can't be asked researching the story and finding out the actual truth to spread rumours. And that causes problems. Chillie's thought process in this video has been from one thing to another to another. It's like his brain's wired up like a plate of spaghetti. Lots of paths leading to nowhere and suddenly stopping. No real coherence to his thoughts. He'll start one sentence and then stop midway and then start a completely different subject. And now he's going to Facebook, where people are saying, well, one story is this and one story is that. The problem is people have got the other stories from Moira, the housewife from down the street, who heard from John the butcher that Jeff the optician saw Jody the dentist, who was honestly 3 streets away in her bedroom and she saw everything. This is what it's like. Do not take Facebook posts as gospel or as truth, because it will just poison the well. And in sad events like this, there's nothing more important than getting to the truth of what happened, for the family's sake and for everybody who was involved. If the off-duty police officer is guilty, I have not seen anything about him doing 80 miles an hour so far, nor of him being intoxicated. Now, what do you think Chillie's going to do when it turns out that I wasn't intoxicated and he wasn't speeding? Chillie is just going to say, oh, it's all a cover-up, blah, 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 with no evidence of it being a cover-up, just because he says so. And he wants to stir and mix and cause shit, because then he'll get all the attention because he's part of it. So I implore you, yet again, for the second time in this video, if anybody out there knows, is it Opal, the child's mother, to please tell her, do not get involved with Chillie Decastro. And Tina, if you get this message, maybe you should, I don't know, send her a quick email or a quick thingy, you know, giving your experience with Chillie, and save her the problems that she could face the same as what you did, and spare her the pain of it.
Cops in our country just trash. Thank God the kids are involved. The kids are showing up. That's the difference maker, is the kids coming. Hopefully TikTok does its thing. I want this family to have peace. I mean, I hope TikTok does its thing as well. I want as much light on this as we can possibly get. Let me go back on this.
This is what I struggled on whether I was going to make a video about this. So this is what we saw a few days ago on our local news station. All it said is that a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle.
That's it.
And then we learned it was a 13-year-old girl. Her name was Lainey. I attached the GoFundMe link for her family, and now I'm going to tell you the story. So the news didn't even report that it was a minor until the next day. Witnesses say that he was intoxicated. One witness also claimed that he turned on his lights to pass her on Route 60 to run a red light. They also said that he was off duty and had a female passenger in the car with him. Everyone who witnessed this said that this man was at least going 60 to 70 miles an hour, and the speed limit is 35 there. So pretty much everybody in the community has come out to say something to the police department, especially when Huntington Police Department posted this the next day. Also, we know for a fact the Cabell County Police Department is blocking people from their page, and multiple.
So let's read that real quick. Let me see what they posted the next day with the police department. I didn't see it happen too quick. Where was that?
Pretty much everybody in the community has come out to say something to the police department, especially when Huntington Police Department posted this the next day.
Okay, so just so you guys know, I was a TikToker, Rick Rocker, and so what they do on TikTok is when you make a video, you just throw 1 second clip in there so that the TikTokers can pause it and read it. So that's what she did. She wasn't being rude. This is a normal thing that they do on TikTok. So you just show a real quick 1 second clip and then people pause it and zoom in. Driving after drinking is deadly, yet it still continues to happen across the... Oh, just it's happening everywhere, huh? If you drive while impaired, you could get arrested or worse. So in there, or worse, be involved in a traffic crash that causes serious injury. About 30% of all traffic crashes, fatalities in the United States involve drunk drivers with BACs. And in 2020, there was 11,654 people killed in these preventable crashes. In fact, on average, over 10-year period from 2011 to 2020, about 10,500 people died every year in drunk driving crashes. In every state, it's illegal to drive drunk, yet one person was killed in a drunk driving crash every 45 minutes. So I don't know why they post this trash, because every single thing that law enforcers have tried to do, every single thing that cops have tried to do to improve DUI has only made it worse. And we know that the alcohol from the 1929 Wickersham Commission, published in 31, the cops were the biggest swindlers there were, period. They're the biggest drug dealers in America are cops. The biggest alcohol dealers are cops. The biggest pimps are cops. Running the gambling routes, cops. Who's smuggling drugs from overseas? Cops. Who's involved in getting drugs into America? Cops. Who does the raping? Cops. You think I'm kidding? The Riverside Strangler ended up being a cop. The cops are the top of the criminal food chain, and they have been ever since Prohibition. They created this monopoly on who gets information when with Prohibition. The alcohol gangs, Lucky Luciano and Al Capone, that I've studied to the bone, worked hand in hand with cops to get their smuggling through. The cops were the bigger alcohol dealers than Capone and Lucky Luciano combined, because they ran the alcohol for both of the two major Prohibition gangs, Lucky Luciano and Al Capone. These are facts. And now we're seeing the same thing. Who's doing all the killing in the streets? The cops. The cops are the problem in our country. I'm sorry that I have to be the flag bearer of bad news for you. Opal Sloan, Tyler Sloan, that family who may have backed the blue no longer will and no longer do. The biggest Criminals in our country are cops because we've given them autonomy. There's no one investigating them. They investigate themselves. And then the filthy pig agencies that do are like the FBI, which are dog shit. It just it perpetuates continually. And you can read this in the Wickersham of 31, in the Knapp of 74, or the Mullen Commission of 1994. It's the same report filed over a 100-year period that says the same thing, that cops are the biggest scumbag criminals in our country. But yet we keep on saying they just need more training. No, we need to wipe away law enforcement and create rights protectors only, that their only functionality is to defend the rights of citizens.
And this is probably where the penny drops. Chillie's just realised that he's just shown something that involves him because he drives impaired. But Chillie, you can't have it one way and the other. It's either one way or the other. You say there's no victims, yet now you're saying there are victims. What is it, Chillie? Is there victims? Is not victims? Should DUI be left alone or prosecuted? You seem to think as long as it's a copper, then they should be prosecuted. But if it's a normal person, they shouldn't be. Well, he's a normal person when he's off duty. He's a normal, everyday person, a family man, a father, a husband. Yeah, you tar him with he's an adulterer, he's a drink driver, he was speeding, driving this, like he's some sort of demon from hell. Yet you do exactly the same thing, Chillie. Like I've said, you drive while doing live streams, having a laptop on your knee and a phone, reading the fucking chats. While driving, you drive stoned out of your face or high as a fucking giraffe, which you've admitted yourself, impaired, incapable. But no, it's all right for Chillie, isn't it? Yeah, he's got the gall to ring up the mother of this child who's been killed and act as if he is some sort of angelic being that can do no wrong. That has only her interest in mind. And that's what's irking me and really pissing me off. And it's pissing me off as a father as well. Because this guy has no clue.
Wow. It's not shocking at all. The police officer that ran through the red light and killed the innocent girl should be arrested and charged for speeding and murder and thrown off the police team. But you know what? He's at home with his family and getting paid to be at home. If there wasn't anyone else, if it was anyone else, they'd be arrested and charged, but he gets special treatment because he's a cop. That's why I don't like police, because just because they have a badge, they can do anything they want and get by with it. That little girl needs justice, and that police officer in trouble. No justice, no peace. And I hope that you guys keep this. And I mean it. I mean no justice, no peace. I mean no justice, no peace. You go down to that police station and you protest. No justice, no peace. Do not give the filthy pigs in Huntington, West Virginia, 1 second of peace. Don't give any of them any peace. They're all a part of it. They're all in on it. They're all hiding the truth. It takes a conspiracy to defend a man who was drunk driving 80 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. It's a giant conspiracy, and every cop that you know that you cop suck is a part of it. They're all in on it. It's a great big club, and you ain't in it. And that's just the simple fact of the matter. So you guys are seeing it. You guys are seeing it. No justice, no peace. I really hope that they really mean that. And I hope that they don't give any peace to those filthy pigs until there's justice for Laney. That's what I truly hope. The fact that the girl passenger won't speak up is a red flag. Of course it is. And this guy right here, he's going to get away with murder because he signed up to be a pig? Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
That I just felt the need to make because I'm not really seeing anything about. So in Huntington, Cabell County, West Virginia, a sheriff in Cabell County struck a 13-year-old girl named Lainey and killed her Friday night. He was going 75 and a 35 in his police cruiser off duty and had his mistress in the car. So this is the sheriff that hit her. His name is Jeff Racer Jr. As you can see, he's been saying stuff like he won't get indicted, he won't get into any trouble.
Wow. And so why are they saying these things? Why are they saying that he's not going to get in trouble?
This is exactly what I was on about. You know, it's true what they say. A lie can go around the world before the truth has even tied its shoelaces. You've got people who don't know. You've got numbers now. It's 35, 75, 90 mile an hour, I think Chillie said, and 80 mile an hour, Chillie said. But they're all facts. It's all true. Honest. Margaret down the road told me, so it's got to be true. It's this sort of lazy ass thinking that's really destroying society. I mean, this is why people should not take Facebook as a place where people put facts. It's because everybody's got an opinion. But then again, everybody's got an arsehole. And like arseholes, opinions sometimes stink. And they're full of shit. And this, to me, is just like Chinese whispers. Goes from one person to another person, all claiming it to be the truth, when all of it's based on such a rocky foundation, where it turns out not to be the truth. They have to find somewhere else to make an excuse for it, like it's a conspiracy or it's a cover-up. And it's sad. Because at this rate, the only person who's not going to get the truth is a little girl and the little girl's family. That's what's sad about this. The public just want their opinion to be heard. They want their narrative to be right. They don't actually care about the truth.
We got, of course, that's the only picture that's available. So if that's really Hannah, then change your picture, because no one's buying it. It's just, you're just another, it's like, it's just, it's, what's really amazing to me is the sect of people in our country who are pro-cop. That's amazing to me. That's amazing. Cops in our country are scum. They literally are scum. And you guys see me talk to them, right? And look at that scumbag in Ironton. He's the guy that punches people in the head when they're in torture cuffs. Beth Rist put it in her book that the pig in Ironton punches dudes in the back of the head, 2 different people, when they're in torture cuffs. But he's a good guy. He's a constitutionalist. And you wonder why I don't like you, Chumpzilla? Because you're a scum bucket, bro. You're scum. Just the rest of the pigs are with you. As soon as you sign up to be a pig, you pretty much have to agree to be a scumbag. You have to agree to cover up, or if you don't cover up the truth, well, then you're going to get ran out. You're going to get ran out. Anyway, I think this can devolve if I keep talking. I have a ton of information that I need to edit down. I need to cut certain parts out of this. Let me see what else is here real quick.
Is that the same thing as you've got 1,000 audits on your phone that you just haven't uploaded yet? Or is it the fact that you've got something on your phone that you've got to edit every positive thing said about the police to make it out to be as damning towards the police as you possibly can? That's more than likely.
Just prepare yourselves. Just be ready. Be ready. You know, no justice, no peace means that the kids, you guys got to find the witnesses and you got to find the bar receipts. There's going to be bar receipts. You don't, you know, unless that pig was getting drinks for free, which he might have been, you need to find out who the bartender was, you know. There was multiple witnesses on the scene who I've already talked to today. Multiple witnesses. So they know what was going on in that little area right there, and they know that guy's been driving around up and down that 60. I'm okay. I got to admit I'm a little bit emotional over this. Today's my first day of actual fasting, where I didn't eat any food or have anything bad, no creamer, no sugar, anything. So I'm going through my own stuff. Yeah. I hope the kids speak up, man. Anyway, listen. All right, I've been on here for an hour and a half. I didn't scream and I didn't cry. So I feel pretty good that I didn't scream and I didn't cry. Let me check this. Yep. I will. I will from now on, that's for sure. So if you guys want to make sure that you hit the GoFundMe link at the top, make sure you drop her $5 or $10. If there's 250, 300 people in here, you guys can all drop $5 and it'll make a really big difference for everybody else. So I'm gonna get the flock out of here. I'm trying to focus on teaching this intermittent fasting thing, but I've just lost my motivation for it today. I just have lost my motivation for it, and I'm still starving, but I just lost my motivation to work on that fasting thing today. So maybe I'll start tomorrow again. But justice for Laney, the kids of Huntington, West Virginia, you guys are the rock stars. Don't let this go. Don't let it go. Don't accept their bullshit excuses. There is a receipt from that bar. There are witnesses of that bar who've contacted me. The kids of that place can find the same people who I found. There are witnesses on the scene. There's going to be receipts. You can trace it back. There's going to be ring cameras up and down that 60 right there. I think it's called the 60 Route 60. The ring camera network. I guarantee you that some of the houses. Let me just pull this up and show you guys real quick so you guys can see. I want to show you guys something. This right here, okay? So this right here, you see these houses up and down this street? There's going to be some of these houses right here for the kids in Huntington. There's going to be some of these houses have ring cameras. Go there tomorrow before the cops get there. The cops will go to people's houses and steal their entire camera system. I've got plenty of stories on this. Go to this store over here, whatever that is, and get the cameras off of there. There's cameras at this gas station. There's cameras at these different places. You see this up here? There's going to be cameras on here. Now, what they're telling us is these cameras didn't work. Yeah, then why do we pay for them, and what are they doing there? I don't like camera lights, but they don't work when we need them, do they? They only work to give you a ticket. This house right here could have a camera on it. This house right here could have a camera on it. So find the cameras, kids. Walk up and down. Tomorrow, when you guys are protesting, don't just protest. Go up and down this street and find the cameras. Go look at houses, anybody who has a ring camera, and get that camera. And if they don't give you the footage, then you gather around with 50 of you outside the house and you say, give us the camera footage. There is camera footage here. This house right here could have camera footage.
Have you heard what this Britain done is just basically inciting? That they go to people's houses and harass them. So what if they've got a ring camera? They might not have been recording. And you're telling them if they turn around and tell people they haven't got any footage to start shouting and carry on and threatening in front of the house. What are you playing at, Chillie? What the are you playing at? You snivelling little coward of a man. You're the first person to ring the police when anything flipping happens. Oh, please protect me. But yet again, you don't like them because one of them touched you without their permission. Didn't they, Chillie? Or is it because you weren't a police officer and you failed the tests? What's wrong? Did the knee pressure get you?
I guarantee you there's camera footage. This building right here may have camera footage on it. It may. Find the camera footage, kids. It's there. And double check on these. Double check. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and find out when these cameras were broken. Because they're saying they were broken. Get the camera footage, kids. The camera never lies. Get the camera footage. Get the camera footage. So the kids got to go and get the footage. Go and get the footage. Let me just send you packing right off of my channel. Thank you so much for coming by. I do appreciate it. You can spread your doubt and hatred somewhere else. God bless you. Okay. Okie dokie. What a wacky person. I pinned it up there. Yeah. Is anybody sending me any money for this young girl's death? You're just a wacky person. Just a wacky person. Like, just people are just absolutely wacky. Like, just wacky. Just incredible. Just incredible. Mind-boggling how someone is so absolutely stupid. You can't fix people who are this stupid. Obviously, this is disgusting. So, and all through that community over there in Huntington and Ironton and Ashland, West Virginia, and Kentucky, Ashland, Kentucky, all those different areas over there, you guys are going to see the cop suckers come out of the woodwork. People who you didn't think would be like, well, that girl shouldn't have been out after 10 o'clock. And you're going to be like, wait a minute, was the cop doing 80? You know, it's like just so creepy. Just so creepy. You know?
Another example of Chillie's sociopathic behaviour. Chillie, I thought you were really upset and cut up about this. That's why you were nearly in tears 5 minutes ago. And now you're laughing because people say the child shouldn't have been out at that time. Well, she shouldn't have been out at that time at her age. She shouldn't have been. And this is your problem. Anything that doesn't fit your narrative, like you've just blocked some other people for basically saying for people not to go to people's houses and start causing trouble, and you just blocked and removed her. Because that's how shallow and screwed up you are in the head.
Like, just so creepy. There you go. There you go. It's so funny, you know. I want to spread as much as I can with people. I want to share as much as I can with people, and I always want to give people a chance to see the light and change and become a better person. You know, I think we've all had to be in that position before where you had to be forgiven for something you did, or you had to be forgiven for being short-sighted or getting caught up in mob mentality or anything like that. And so I always am trying to give people another chance. And it's just so funny because the truth is, and here's the truth, we're in a war for freedom. And the cops are against us, and their families are against us. The Fraternal Order of Police and the government is against us. So we're literally in a war for freedom and for just our basic God-given rights. And so I go through and I have these bouts of humility where I try to unblock people who said horrible things to me. But the truth is that there's a certain sect of people, and I said it when I was in Denver, I'm not going to repeat it, but we would just be better off without them. We would just be better off without them. Like, the world would be a better place if they weren't a part of it. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. There are people who are so ingrained in hatred and just disgust that we would be better as a society if they weren't with us. So unfortunately, we have to drag along the trash with us as we continue.
Oh, bless. Look, Chillie's having an epiphany. Chillie's finally looking into the mirror and realizing exactly what he is and exactly how we feel about him. The only person full of hatred, Chillie, is you. In everything you do. Everything is hate police, hate the government, hate this, hate that. Man, you must have gone through some trauma when that copper touched you without your permission. Must have been something really special for it to stick in your mind like this, Chillie.
But I just see it, because I go through and I don't have a photographic memory, but pretty close. So when I hit a button on someone, whether I click yes or no or pass or stay or whatever, I remember the username. And then I see them come in here after I've went through my page and took the time to take them off the block list so they can come back in, and they just come in with visceral and hatred. So there's a certain sect of people in our country, maybe 10 or 20% of people. I said it in Denver exactly how I felt. I meant it. It's not publicly acceptable to say those things, but we would be better off without those people. Our country would be better. Our world would be better off without a certain sect of people who are just full of hatred. And I hate to say that, but it's true. You can see it. A 13-year-old girl was killed by a guy who was driving like a maniac. If I drive like a maniac and I kill a 13-year-old little girl, I'm going to be held accountable for that. And that's what I'm talking about here. Nobody's above accountability. And so when you see this group of people who come in here with this hatred, you just go, God, we would be such a better group of we would be such a better world of people if we didn't have these haters that just absolutely hate everybody and everything. It's like this small group of people that want to control everybody and everything. And so we're living in this really kind of, and then we have these internet keyboard warriors where you can't even really get in real life justice because and get you on camera. I was built for
the only era you were built for, Chillie, was the era of the chicken, of the coward. Because that's all you are.
I don't really think about it. But anyway, I'll get the flock out of here. Oh, I thought you got blocked. So sorry you didn't get blocked. I blocked the Mel Roden. Maybe that wasn't the one I tried to block. But anyway, listen, I'm going to get the flock out of here. I'm going to break my fast with some clean, lean, white meat. And then I'm due to break my fast right now. It's 9 p.m. So maybe I'll make a video. Justice for Lainey, everybody. Make sure you guys hit that GoFundMe for the family, all right? I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, Gators.
Oh, well, Chillie, don't forget, if you're going to enjoy that white meat, to pay him afterwards. Thank you all for sticking around. This has been a harrowing experience for me. This is probably got to be one of the longest videos I've ever done. I'm sorry it's not my usual comedic satire self taking the mickey, but I just think it was that appropriate to be doing it with such a sad subject. I hope the truth and the facts come out and the evidence is presented and the family finds peace. But as for Chillie, anybody who knows the family, just warn them off of him so he can't do any more damage to them. Because that's what it's going to end up as. Anyway, thank you all for sticking around. And you all take care now. And don't forget, there is a GoFundMe going for the family. So make sure if you're going to donate, that you donate to the family and not to Chillie. And And remember, everybody, get a grip.